The PlayStation Store is having an awesome Best of E3 sale right now, and in this video we're going to be going over 10 awesome deals available right now as a part of that sale. Now there are so many deals available that we might make another video going over some other great deals, but for now we're just going to be looking at 10, so let's get right into this. First up, we have Dying Light following the Enhanced Edition for $17.99. Of course, at E3, we had the announcement of Dying Light 2, so what better way to get yourself familiarized with Techland's zombie survival game than by checking out Dying Light following the Enhanced Edition for a pretty good price. Now, I should mention you can get the base Dying Light game for a little bit cheaper at $11.99, but I would recommend you to get Dying Light following the Enhanced Edition. Has some refinements, has extra content, and overall, this is the best version of the game, so definitely give it a look. If you saw Dying Light 2 and you liked what that game showed off at E3, you should give the first game a look. It has some great gameplay elements with some awesome parkour gameplay, and just a very good zombie survival title.
Do these fucking rituals. I think they even prayed to her.
I'm looking for anything that could save my friends. If you have anything.
We've shown you a path and a sign, Mr. Crane. The rest is up to you and your faith.
Next up, we have an excellent deal on Gravity Rush 2. It is 35% off for just $12.99. Now, while 35% off doesn't sound like a steep discount, the game already saw a significant slash on its retail price down to $19.99. For $19.99, this game is already a ridiculous deal, but now even cheaper than that, Gravity Rush 2 is a must-buy. I've been touting Gravity Rush 2's excellence going back to the release back in January of last year. Unfortunately, this is a game that didn't do all too well from a commercial standpoint, but it does seem like there's a cult following behind it. And if you haven't played the Gravity Rush titles yet, you have to. Now, both Gravity Rush 1 and 2 are discounted. Gravity Rush 2 is just such a better game than Gravity Rush 1 that I would just jump in with the sequel. The first title was, of course, developed for the PlayStation Vita and later ported over to the PlayStation 4 in a remastered version, while Gravity Rush 2 was built ground up for the PlayStation 4, and you could really see that come through in the content and the visuals. For just $12.99, I'd say Gravity Rush 2 is a bargain. Next up, we have Batman Return to Arkham for just $9.99. I should also mention the latest Batman Arkham title, and Batman Arkham Knight is also down to $9.99. I would recommend all of those games. If you're just getting into Batman Arkham, I would start off with the Return to Arkham collection. This includes Arkham Asylum as well as Arkham City, and in my opinion, those two games are better than Arkham Knight. Arkham Knight is a bigger experience, while Arkham Asylum is a very contained experience, and Arkham City is a little bit more opened, but I just felt the story and some of the design elements in the first two titles were better. Now, I would consider the first two titles some of the best games on last generation platforms, so Arkham Knight isn't bad by any means. It's a very good game, and again, I would recommend you to play all of them, but if you're starting out, Return to Arkham for just $9.99. That's $5 a pop for each game. That is a great deal, but if you've already played those two titles, Arkham Knight is definitely worth a buy as well.
Wayne is so much easier than Batman.
Next up, we have a deal that's pretty regularly available, but it's such a good deal that I still want to mention it, and that is the Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2 Ultimate Bundle for just $19.99. Now, this includes both Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2, as well as a bunch of downloadable content, and at a very good price. Battlefield 1 is still a rather expensive game, especially if you throw in all the downloadable content, and Titanfall 2, while it is very cheap, you're getting that, you're getting the downloadable content for that game as well. And they are both two great first-person shooters, and for Titanfall 2, it had the unfortunate circumstance of being released right around the time of Battlefield 1, and it looks like that affected the game from a commercial standpoint, but Respawn is still trucking along. Hopefully we do see a Titanfall 3 at some point. For now, if you've yet to check out Titanfall 2 and Battlefield 1, this bundle is a great way to do so. Next up, we have Metal Gear Solid 5, the definitive experience for $14.99. Yes, we saw a little bit of Death Stranding at E3, and what better way to get in the mood for that than play Kojima's last work in Metal Gear Solid 5, and with the definitive experience, you get Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, you get Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, you get some downloadable content. This is the complete MGS5 experience, which at launch had a lot of controversy surrounding it, but now that time has passed, I feel like we could just look back at MGS5 as a great open-world stealth action game. And at just $14.99 for all of the content that you're getting already with the base Metal Gear Solid 5 game, you have so much content with all of the side ops, and even just going through the main story takes you quite a while. But you throw in all of the additional content, and this is going to keep you busy for a long time.
The map is being updated.
Next up, we have Nioh for $17.99. Of course, at E3, we saw a quick teaser trailer for Nioh 2. Kind of surprising since Nioh is still a rather recent release. This game released back in February of last year. Personally speaking, I was a little bit surprised to see Nioh 2, but nonetheless, Nioh was an excellent game. It had a great setting, a lot of comparisons to Dark Souls, but it has a story that's more told in your face, and it does have some gameplay nuances that are a bit different. But if you're a fan of challenging action games, if you've yet to check out Nioh for $17.99, I would say that's a really good deal, and will probably get you pretty excited for Nioh 2, even though we don't know a ton about that game yet. Next up, I wanted to give a mention to Killzone Shadowfall, as it's down to just $3.99. This was the system-selling PlayStation 4 launch title, obviously developed by Guerrilla Games, who are known for the Killzone titles. Most recently, they did do Horizon Zero Dawn, however. Killzone Shadowfall is one of the weaker titles in the Killzone franchise, but I was still a big fan of the single-player campaign. I love the new setting. Obviously, visually speaking, this is a stunning game. Even to this day, in 2018, it is one of the best-looking PlayStation 4 titles, and it was a launch game, so that says quite a bit. The multiplayer isn't anything to write home about. I wasn't as big of a fan of that as I was of Killzone 3 and Killzone 2, and those two titles I sunk hours upon hours into. With Killzone Shadowfall, I didn't find it as engaging of an experience, but at just $3.99, even for just the single-player campaign, I would say this is worth a buy.
You and I understand that this is the reality of life, and it begins with your destruction.
Next up, we have The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition for $19.99. Of course, CD Projekt Red finally showed off a brand new trailer for Cyberpunk 2077. Unfortunately, it was just a CG trailer. There was a 50-minute gameplay demo that was shown behind closed doors. Unfortunately, we didn't get a look at that. But speaking of CD Projekt Red, of course, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is one of the games that really brought them to prominence. While The Witcher and The Witcher 2 were great games, it seemed like the mainstream gaming world took notice of CD Projekt Red's brilliance with The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. And with the Complete Edition, not only do you get the base game, of course, you get the downloadable content as well, Hearts of Stone, as well as Blood and Wine, and those add a significant amount of content to your overall experience. Hearts of Stone is around 10 to 12 hours, Blood and Wine adds around 30 hours of content, and then when you look at the base Witcher 3 game itself, that is already a very complete and very immersive experience in its own right. Whenever the Complete Edition is available at just $19.99, I have to recommend it. You can make a legitimate argument that this is the best game this generation thus far, and I've always said that The Witcher 3 to me is the perfect single player experience. It really nails all those boxes in terms of having amazing visuals, great gameplay, a great story, a content-filled world that all of the content is meaningful. The Witcher 3 really nails it, and at just $19.99, it's an absolute must-buy.
The Elder Blood can initiate the final age, the time of the end. Remember this, Gwynplaine.
A wish, hacked, signed in blood, and a price to be paid. Concern, the land of love and wine.
Next up, we have Until Dawn, which is down to just $4.99. This was one of the earlier PlayStation 4 exclusives that surprised a lot of gamers. Supermassive Games did a really good job with Until Dawn, and you'll see a lot of comparisons be drawn to the Quantic Dream styles of experiences. Wouldn't say Until Dawn is quite as good as, say, Heavy Rain, but it's a good game in its own right. If you're a fan of old horror films, Until Dawn is going to be right up your alley. A little bit cheesy at times, but I found it very easy to appreciate, and at just $4.99, while it is a rather short experience considering the price you're paying, I think this is well worth it.
Until dawn, only your choices determine.
And finally, gotta give a mention to Yakuza 0 for $17.99. That is a great deal on Yakuza 0, and Yakuza 0 is a game that's really held up in value. And any type of discount on that, I have to mention, Yakuza has been gaining a lot of steam over here in the West. We just saw the release of Yakuza 6. That was a great game. Yakuza Kiwami 2 is coming later this year, and we do know that remasters of Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 are also coming, so be excited for that. But if you want to get into the Yakuza franchise, Yakuza 0 is a great way to do so, as it is a prequel to the entire series, but it still does have the technical values of a more recent game. It's a great franchise with a great main character, and if you're looking to get into the Yakuza franchise, or you're just looking to experience Yakuza 0 for the first time at $17.99, absolute must buy with Yakuza 0. So that is going to conclude this one. 10 awesome deals as a part of PlayStation's Best of E3 sale. It's a great sale, and again, there are a ton more great deals we could go over, so we probably will end up doing another video going over some other great deals. But for now, those are 10 to sink your teeth into. Sound off with your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.